All right, let's get right into it. When you think of a hacker, what comes to mind? Probably some shadowy figure in a hoodie, furiously typing code, breaking through some kind of digital fortress, right? Well, what if I told you the truth is actually way simpler and honestly, a lot more scary? Because most of the time, hackers don't break in at all. They just find an unlocked door and, well, they walk right in.
And I can almost hear what you're thinking right now. My business is too small. We don't have anything a hacker would want. I gotta tell you, that's probably one of the most common and riskiest assumptions a business owner can make. Because, you see, the data tells a completely different story. Check this out. Nearly half, a whopping 48%, of all cyber attacks target small and mid-sized businesses. So why is that? It's because hackers are opportunists. They know smaller companies often have weaker defenses, and they're not always looking for one giant score. No, they're looking for a steady paycheck from easy wins.
So to really get a handle on the threat, we first have to understand who's on the other side of that screen. And let me tell you, it is rarely the lone wolf genius from the movies. The reality is much more professional.
Today's attackers are a pretty diverse bunch with some serious motivations. You've got your criminal enterprises, they're just in it for the money, plain and simple. Then you have hacktivists, who are driven by some political or social agenda. Of course, you have nation-states carrying out espionage. And then there's the insider. Maybe an employee who's out for revenge, or maybe just someone who's stressed and makes a really, really costly mistake.
And what's fascinating is the psychology behind all this. Dr. Stanton Samino, who studied the criminal mind for decades, he points out that the core mentality is exactly the same. It's all about power and control. A cybercriminal isn't some new breed of offender. They're just an old-school criminal with a brand new set of tools.
And that right there brings us to the absolute heart of this explainer. The true villain of this story isn't some brilliant hacker. Nope. It's something way more common. Something lurking inside pretty much every single organization. A little thing called technical debt. So what on earth is technical debt? Well, officially, it's the future cost you're going to pay when you choose a quick and easy fix today instead of the better, more robust solution that would have taken a little longer. Just think of it as all the shortcuts, all the compromises you make to save a little time or money right now.
And here is the absolute best way to think about it. It's like an unpaid credit card bill. You know, every time you rush a project or use a temporary patch, you're making a small charge on that card. And if you ignore it, that small balance, with all its compounding interest, it just balloons into a massive, unmanageable problem. And this debt, it shows up in all kinds of places. It can be messy code that's impossible to fix. It can be an outdated system architecture that just can't keep up anymore. It can be old hardware that isn't getting security updates, or even just bad documentation that makes every new project a nightmare. It really does pile up everywhere. So here's the bottom line. Hackers love technical debt. They live for it. They don't need to be geniuses or find some brand new zero-day exploit. All they have to do is scan for the well-known, easy-to-grab, low-hanging fruit. You know, the security patch your team put off, the default password that nobody ever changed, and they just waltz right in. And listen, this isn't just some theory. Technical debt has been the root cause of some of the most expensive and catastrophic breaches we've ever seen. Let's just take a look at a few examples from last year alone, 2025. First up, the breach at McDonald's hiring platform. That cost the company an estimated $150 million. And the cause? A rushed AI deployment, a perfect example of brand new technical debt. Attackers used a trick called prompt injection, which is basically just fooling the AI with specific text commands to get around its security and steal applicant data. Then you've got the United Natural Foods ransomware attack. Cost $200 million. And the culprit here was classic infrastructure debt. Unpatched VPN appliances that were way past their expiration date. It gave attackers a wide open door to encrypt their entire supply chain network. And finally, the TransUnion breach, a jaw-dropping $300 million disaster. And this one came down to a misconfigured cloud server. Someone left a public storage bucket wide open during a data migration, and bots just walked right in and scooped up credit data for 200 million people. Now look at this timeline. These are not isolated incidents, folks. All three of these massive debt-fueled breaches happened back-to-back in the summer of 2025 alone. It just shows you how often these vulnerabilities are being found and exploited. It's relentless. Okay, so the problem is pretty clear, but here's the good news. The solution doesn't require building Fort Knox.
It's really about systematically paying down your security debt by building smart, simple layers of defense.
Here are 5 basic but absolutely critical steps you can take. 1. Train your team. They are your first line of defense, your human firewall. 2. Keep your systems updated. Seriously, that software update isn't optional. It's a critical security patch. 3. Use multi-factor authentication. It is one of the single most effective ways to stop stolen passwords from working. 4. Back up your data so you can get back on your feet quickly after an attack. And finally, 5. Get 24/7 monitoring, because you can bet the attackers aren't just working 9 to 5. Let's wrap this all up with one last and really crucial thought. In today's world, being reactive to cybersecurity is a losing game. You just can't wait for something bad to happen. The cost of doing nothing is simply too high.
And this quote just nails the challenge perfectly. As the defender, your security has to be perfect every single day. But an attacker, they only need to find one little mistake, one piece of that unpaid technical debt to win. The odds are just fundamentally stacked against you.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. It is no longer a matter of if your organization will be tested, but when. The hackers are already out there, right now, checking the doorknobs. The real question you have to ask yourself is, how much technical debt have you left lying around for them to find?